And look, just like that, we're live. So, like I said, we were talking backstage about some of the past guests and and nerves and kind of the flow of these interviews. And I said, you're gonna do just fine. This is gonna be a fantastic one. So, Omri, welcome,
Thank
welcome to
you.
the
I
show.
really appreciate the opportunity, Kevin. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. So we were just talking about. I guess you guys are expecting some snow up in the Greater Toronto area here over the next couple of days, eh?
We are. We are. It's been a kind of a gloomy January, so at least we'll get some white powder to deflect some. It should be good.
Brighten it up. But you were saying, and before we were just kind of chatting backstage. You're saying it's actually been a pretty fast paced January. I guess relative to most Januaries.
It has been. We're really focused on proactive monitoring and helping our customers with our DR run book, and so that's really been our focus. So ransomware doesn't calm down, and our partners, our customers have time to really dig in with the way we go to market with preparing our partners. So as I told you behind stage, our one of our partners, customers made a declaration for disaster recovery, on the December 24th, and it's really fascinating to see that because we plan with the enterprise. It's an enterprise service provider, and we plan for it. We're a big advocate of validation and planning it out. But ransomware doesn't know PTO, time, religion,
Holidays.
holidays.
Yeah.
And it was just fascinating to see, sort of like a play. Everybody just come into action for something that we practiced, and it was just kind of, it was awesome to see that, just kind of unfolding right before our eyes. Somebody got a
Mm.
lump of coal in their stockings over
Boy,
the holidays, and we said no to the ransom and yes to the validation. So that was awesome.
awesome. Well done. Well done. So we're gonna take a trip down, I guess, memory lane for yourselves. We're gonna go way back and figure out what led to this awesome endeavor that you've been on for a while now. But
Sure.
so let's jump back, right? So you're in Toronto. So let's take it even further. I guess let's talk about where you grew up, where you went to school, what kind of student were you, what were you interested in when you were younger. Let's hear it all.
Wow. So I kind of grew up, middle class in the Greater Toronto area. Um, my father, was kind of in the late '80s, early '90s, in startup mode for his data storage, data protection business. He is a founder of a Segra, which was a dominant player in the '90s and the 2000s. And so I was in high school, and so I got kind of behind the scenes look at the whole story around data protection. For me, it was just I was in high school and kind of not really interested in it, but it was front and center and being involved in he fundraised, and he was seeded, and he grew, and he's millions of installations for his backup software worldwide, government, large businesses. And so that was kind of, if you want to kind of layer the two between a bridge, really schooling that. And that's kind of the way you know, when there was an opportunity to let my teenager kids listen into the calls, they know to be quiet, and they do listen in, because that's part of my obligation about being a father. My tradition is that you have to teach our children how to swim and have to teach them how to make a living. And those are the one is to save your life, and the other one is to be independent. And so for me, that started early on, and so I try to the best I can do that. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I mute and I say, okay, what's the right answer here? And it becomes a laugh. And I get to do that all over again with my 9-year-old.
Well, it sounds like you're doing something right, right? Because we were talking again backstage, and you said your 16-year-old was listening to some Frank Sinatra today. So I think you're at least taking him in the right direction, I guess.
I did it my way. I told my wife, "Uh-oh, we got an ISV in the working here. I don't know how this is gonna work out, but
It sounds like you're passing the tradition along. So I guess taking a step back and looking at your dad, in the full entrepreneurial state, development, fundraising, I guess
and success. He fundraised, but he made, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars over multiple years, and he was really successful. My dad's now retired. He's 80 years old. I saw him a couple hours ago, and we were just relaxing. He saw me sweat and work hard on sales calls, and he just was relaxed. So good on him. I said, you get to relax, you get to work. My pleasure.
So what would he say about you in your youth, your early days, in school?
I think that it was a progression and a transformation, from being dependent on my parents into being a full-fledged service provider. I was the first Asegra service provider. I was told there's no room for you in the Asegra business. You get kicked out, and you'll see the upside. You'll make more money than the two of us combined because we have obligations. My dad and my brother ran that Asegra business for 25, 30 years. We did. And so that was kind of what led me, to me. This is year 22 coming up come May for the Storage Guardian business. The first 17 years of the business was solely on the Asegra platform. We delivered it worldwide out of our 3 data centers in Canada, the US, and the UK. And in 2017, we wrote a plugin for ConnectWise Manage, and it was the way I think Arnie Bellini ran the ConnectWise was really to embrace small ISVs and put them into the ecosystem, who really was an inspiration, whether he knows it or not, was a mentor as a small ISV. And I got the opportunity and have an opportunity to be resold as as a managed service, cloud services, via ConnectWise and via large distributions such as Ingram Micro. And so those are the kind of the 2 ways we've gone to market, and that was kind of a transformation for me to be kind of dependent on the Asegra platform and my family, and to be kind of really independent, open my eyes and really see where the market is going. Around that time, the whole backup as a service industry was starting to become disruptive with a SaaS-based model. No more do you have to pay for software plus maintenance, but rather it's just sold as a subscription. So kind of we took the writing on the wall with that, and we kind of grew from there. From the inception of the business, we've been really partner focused, knowing that our channel partners are our biggest strength, leveraging our skill sets and our technology, and kind of that's for sure part of the evolution of the business, whether it was reselling or becoming an ISV. And really, that's what resonated with Storage Guard and myself and the channel program is you give a chance for small ISVs to have a platform and talk about their go-to-market strategy and their history. I'm really thankful for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So I'm going to push you. I'm going to push you. I'm going backward again. So, you
Okay.
never told me what kind of student were you? What kind of student were you? How
So
interested
I was,
in learning?
I want to say I was a B plus student. Nothing, no straight A's for me. I was not going to be, in a medical track or engineering track. For me, it was poli sci and philosophy in university. I'm a proud graduate with my bachelor's of arts degree from York University, which is kind of the large, university, 50,000 commuter students, and you know. I'm grateful for that, the ability to think abstract and hear different thoughts. You ever come up to Toronto? I'll show you some of our fine art collection. I'm interested
Hey,
in some art from the and be more than happy to show that from the Austro-Romania area, which and from the 1920s, which saw a ton of disruption as well. During the Industrial Revolution. I often think of the disruption that happened then is equivalent to what we see right now, and I think of that from an advertising point of view, and also from a fine arts point of view.
I totally got that from you. So now I'm starting to see some of the theme here. That it's interesting because you're looking back, kind of the fine arts, looking at history, talking about disruption, and you're absolutely right. When backup has evolved significantly, right? You talk about disruption where it was in the early 2000s. You're talking about on-prem with these large maintenance contracts and just fees, and then it's evolved into that SaaS model. And I wrote a little LinkedIn post, I think it was this morning or last night, about just you see the cyclical nature of just backup in general. This whole category, like it was the 2000s. It came into its own. Then you had that kind of wave that transitioned to the recurring billing model, and then I feel like pre-pandemic, like backup kind of faded a little bit, but because of the pandemic, backup continuity of operations and everything that
Let me
surrounds that
stop you
has
there,
been great.
Kevin. We
Yeah.
surged over COVID in
Mm.
the biggest possible way, sort of like other kind of industries that kind of surge for whatever reason. We are growing over COVID what we would consume in an 8 month period. We were doing that in a 30-day period. I
Wow.
mean, by a petabyte a month over COVID.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and so we grew like crazy over COVID, and we have not looked back.
So
Uh,
my theory holds true then. You're validating my
yeah,
theory or my assumption. So let's get into maybe some habits, right? Some daily habits. So a lot of the guests have talked about their routines. Some get up at 5 o'clock. They're very structured, regimented. They have to do the same thing the same way every day. And any of those particular habits that you've developed over the years, or is it
well,
just kind of get up and go with the flow?
I do wake up early, a quarter to every morning. I mean, a quarter to five every morning, and I actually do a tractate of Talmud every morning. There's a whole group of Babylonian tractate law that's studied around the world, and so I'm on that track every morning, which is something that anybody can take on. And just if you want to find out more about that, no problem at all. And so that consumes about 45 minutes of the day. And then, I guess that's going back to my liberal arts days. And
Mhm.
then I got young kids still, and we're a really busy service provider. And so by 7 o'clock in the morning, the day is planned out for me, from customers requests overnight, because we have customers in Europe, and in North America. That's when the day kind of is set up.
Yeah. Are you able to shut it off at some point during the day, or are you always on?
I'm always on.
Yeah.
It's I go to sleep when the last email happens, and the next shift transitions in because we're 24/7. But that's my pleasure. That's I love it. If I think that there's a work life balance, and so I really do believe in that. But for me, I go to sleep when the last email is resolved. I do also exercise through the day, so don't worry about that. I work out with a YouTube channel. His name is Nate Bauer. It's a 20-minute full body workout.
Wow.
Highly recommend that, and that really manages the stress.
Wow. So tell me about that. I guess it's 20-minute total body, and it's kind
Full
of
body workout.
wow.
It's not. I think he's got over a 500,000 followers, Nate Bauer, and he's got a shout out by Jack. Uh, what's a Wolverine guy? Yeah, Jack Hume. You know,
Uh, yeah, human.
yeah,
Hughesman.
yeah.
No, Hughes.
And I don't
We're
think
talking
Nate
about.
can pay
Yeah.
for an endorsement from him. He's just a great full body workout, and I think what he says is he doesn't have a lot of equipment and time, so he just fits it into his schedule. So I mean, but I that's a full body workout, which means it hits every single muscle in the body, and so and it's just small equipment and you just fit it into your schedule.
Awesome. Cool. So what about let's talk about success and failure. Um, any particular failures in the past haunt you, or anything that any failure that's motivated you, or any failure at all in your past?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited by innovation, and I don't think that with any innovation doesn't come with risk and reward and failures. I mean, I think if you don't have failures, then you won't have the upside of success. Most recently we launched our latest Veeam self-provisioning portal, which integrates into a PowerShell script. We worked very closely with the API team with Veeam out of Atlanta, Georgia. And, what we noticed when we launched in early November was the amount of virtual resources, exceeded everybody's expectations when we launched it. We worked closely with the Veeam team, not the Asigra team, the Veeam team, that disrupted the Asigra, to resolve it. It was really all hands on deck. And I have to say, as an ISV, as an independent software runner for Veeam, as a market disruptor working on the ISV track, it was so nice to work partner on a different level, not on the success side, which we've seen a lot of success side, but also in the trenches working with them on the API side to manage virtual resources, which were really unexpected, like why they would surge. We had no idea why. I mean, we're built for large workloads, but on the what we saw was just kind of unexpected. But we're aligned with them, and we kind of worked it out. Nobody freaked out. We just kind of did what we had to do, and that was it.
Good. So I'd put that in the success category, right?
If
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was success, but it was not pretty.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got there. Um, so you've had it sounds like a great mentor in your father, and it sounds like you're passing that along to your kids. Um, like how much of watching your dad and all his trials and tribulations and success and outcomes, how much uh, of an influence did that have on you in your drive?
Well, I think to become an independent software vendor, you have to have had some experience in that, and successes and failures. And for me, it was kind of second nature, because I saw the ups and downs, the roller coaster, working on a 32-bit NT server and watching a Windows server crash every day,
Hmm.
is really is really the way I think of me being a service provider is, like the Tower of Babel. It's ultimately going to crash if you don't have a big foundation. If the if you build it you know too inexpensively, you're ultimately going to somebody's going to have to pay for that. And so um and that's what I see happen right now, in the backup as a service. Marketplace is, there's a lot of low cost solutions,
Hmm.
these are seasoned professionals. They're going to pass the buck to somebody else to figure out down the road, where we see low cost. And while we we understand low cost, and we've also gone through a digital transformation to the 20 terabyte Seagate drives, with high dense compute.
Hmm.
There is no upside to that unless you're an independent software vendor, and you have more deeper discussions with your customers. And so within our Veeam self-provisioning portal, we have both options. One is for the high availability and customers that want to plan out DR as a service, and work together with customers. And then we have our lower tiered storage. And I say that because in many ways, in the back of the service, it's either one or the other, and
Hmm.
you can't have both. And I attribute that to successes and failures. If you're going
Hmm.
to be too big, too quick, um, somebody's going to feel the pain. And it might be a customer, it might be yourself. And we like to give our customers choices, which tier they want to be in,
Yeah.
with the way we go to market.
So if you had to fast forward 3 years from now, what do you guys look like in 3 years?
In 3 years from now, we're going to ask our partners, which service they want to have. We're really ingrained within the Ingram Micro marketplace ecosystem, as a resold Veeam partner in there, allowing customers to just buy what they need and not buy any more than what they don't. And so we're entrenched with that. We're also aligned with within the PSA industry, which of course includes the the ConnectWise as a
Mhm.
resold product with our Invent status and our Veracode certification on our plugins. And so that's where we see ourselves, is just running those transactions and letting our partners just buy what they need, and don't not over to commit. We also have a really big growth in our DR runbook, which allows partners to ask their customers really tough questions, like who is going to be the one to make the declaration for the disaster recovery, whether it's yourselves or the partner. And we work on a statement of work and a customer responsibility matrix, and also an integration in the managed detection response industry,
Mhm.
with our
Mhm.
recent integration of our PowerShell scripts within our portal, allowing customers to create templates around that. And those are three really high growth areas.
Mhm.
And there we're working on a really interesting PSA professional software automation, which we'll launch shortly as well.
Wow, exciting. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is maybe one piece of advice that you'd give. I often ask you, what's one piece of advice that you give to the industry, MSPs, and I think one is, and I'm projecting, but getting to the place where you can ask the tough questions, right? Like you were talking about. But as that is a given, I guess any other things that the industry should be thinking about?
Well, I mean, whenever there is a commoditized, in my opinion, whenever
Mhm.
there is a commoditized market, that is the upside to sell a premium. And
Mhm.
so I'll be the first person to say backup as a service is a race to the lowest price. But when you see, and I hope I can drop some names like Backblaze losses year over year because they're publicly traded. Wasabi just did another fundraiser. They're a $500 million, and they say their market trend is to not see a 3-2-1, just go directly to the cloud. What is the upside to that? Okay,
Mhm.
great. You're selling something in an object safe market. Where is the upside to the partner to ask those tough questions? And so what we've done is we've layered a DR run book to work together hand in hand with a partner and to ask the tough questions around ransomware. Who's going to take on that responsibility, and what's going to happen, and how are we going to emulate that? And that's the way we've combated it with my independent software vendor, side of the house, and add some premiums around that because, as as you've seen in your own channel, in your own broadcast, the insurance company are not paying out ransomware,
Yeah.
and they want to see preparations, they want to see validation, and preparations for that to mitigate the risk. And we've done that, within our run book, and we fill it in, and then we practice makes perfect. And so I mean, and you cannot do that with low cost disk. You need to
Mhm.
have that premium disk to do that. And so we're able to juggle the two between the backup life cycle of data, where newly created data is treated differently
Mhm.
than older data, based on regulatory long-term storage, which you can archive and just focus on the newly created data. And that's the way we've gone to market with our Veeam platform, which is the market leader. I participate um, in some group sessions with Robin Robbins. We had the CEO of Datto now on there, and he says the number one competition for Datto is Veeam, which is
Mhm.
shocking for me to hear. He doesn't talk about Commvault, which is the market leader. Doesn't talk about Veritas. He doesn't talk about on the enterprise side. That's which is shocking to me. He talks about Veeam, and so I don't say there's one right solution for everybody. We like to give our customers choices and ask the tough questions.
Yeah, that's interesting. In that, I think they're both insight portfolio companies now. So that's interesting that there's that perceived competition or rivalry there. But
I think it's a good thing.
yeah, I really appreciate kind of your positioning because I think you're right in that there's this forced maturity going on in the marketplace, and it'd be interesting to see how economics play out in the next couple of years. But I think the more mature, uh, MSPs, IT service providers are realizing that it's you know they have to get away from the race to the bottom, right? And historically, there's been it's margin, 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 down to the bottom, when that's just an erosion of stability and continuity and quality. And you guys have bucked that trend in a really, I think, smart way,
What we
which is
say is let's get a statement of work going and let's document the customer responsibility, and so we can delegate areas of lower margin, and say who's going to be responsible for that,
yeah.
versus more complex areas where there's variables or you need a little bit more of a experienced tech stack to deal with that. And so what we do when we go to market with with our backup as a service is we ask who's going to take on the responsibilities for monitoring, who's going to take on the responsibility for DR as a service, and then we formulate that, and and we go to market like that, and so that usually resonates because it helps the partner out,
Yeah.
have better discussions with our customers around that, and we've done really well with that. And anybody who wants to see what a RACI looks like, what a customer responsibility matrix looks like for backup as an industry, just to hop on to the storageguardian.com website, and we'll be more than happy to go over that with them. It's part of our go-to-market strategy, and to ask those tough questions.
Yeah, look, the fact that you're that collaborative is refreshing, because the industry got away from that, going back a couple of years, and the vendors that really treat those as partnerships and kind of help the vendor or help the partners dig in like that are the ones that do well. I'll do a quick little show of a shout out. There you go. And Mr. Matt Solomon putting a comment out there saying hello. We'll hide Matt. We like to hide Matt as much as we can, because he's all over the place as much as he can. But just kidding, Matt. So let's I guess begin our wrap up here. I guess tell the audience, where can we learn more about Storage Guardian? Where can we learn more about you? What's the best place to find you?
So we go to market through large distribution via our marketplace SKUs. And so if you're a ConnectWise partner and you want to learn more about that, you can buy very small SKUs via the ConnectWise marketplace. Shout out to Jess and the marketplace team. If you're an Ingram Micro partner and you want to go through the marketplace, you just call your Ingram Micro rep, or you can just reach out to us with a evaluation, and then of course via the storageguardian.com website, and we're here to ask the questions that will formulate into a meaningful managed service, whether it's newly created data and you want to prioritize it, whether you want to archive data to save money for your customers and their budget. We're here to just kind of formulate a proper solution based on recovery times, based on the type of data that it is, and just kind of scale and grow using a shared approach. Most of our customers know us through our self-provisioning portal, where again it's a shared responsibility, where our customers control the quota storage on the cloud and classify it there. We're proud of our integration within Veeam and the PowerShell script, and how we're able to automate that within a managed detection response to create templates, including locking down the repository in the event of a breach. We're proud of our DR runbook, where we put all the information into the runbook, which we publish, and we share that with customers, and we force somebody to say who is the most responsible person in the event of a breach. And we demonstrate that to all your partners, and then of course talk about the price. We're here to drive resources and make sure everybody makes money. We're proud of our digital transformation. We shrunk from 20 racks in 2020 down to 4 racks in 2023, which was a huge multi-million-dollar investment, and that's just to, as you said, to ensure our success in terms of our price point. That's through our partnership with Seagate and Store One, but that's we deliver that to ultimately reduce the time to market and the just focus on the managed service providers, and we're really proud of that.
That's awesome. Look, I mean, what else could you ask for? Collaborative, vendor that's engaged, and you can send an email to the CEO at midnight, and he'll respond to you because he can't sleep until he responds to all his emails. So, I mean, what more could you ask for? That's fantastic. So, I kid, but maybe I don't kid. But look, I just want to thank you for taking time, today. I know you got a lot of things on your plate. You got a busy schedule, going out there and doing what you guys do, and just really appreciate your time and sharing your story and letting the channel know where we can find you and work
And
with
don't
you. So,
forget about your platform. Those deals, that's also a great place to look out for us. We're here to just start and engage the discussions, and so of course, let me not remiss the channel program.
Oh, good. Look, I appreciate the plug, but today's all about you. But yes, we got channel deals up there. Your profile, and we'll be making some pretty, I think, interesting announcements in about 3 or 4 weeks of even greater ways to utilize our platform and make this really collaborative across the industry. So stay tuned for that. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much. And thanks for everybody tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.